few questions we're going to ask, and just so you know, it's the exact same questions that we're going to ask every candidate, so
Okay.
everybody's going to be getting the same thing. And the first thing we wanted to ask you is, what do you think is the single most pressing issue to address in Morganton right now, and why?
For me, I think it's going to be our roads and infrastructure. That's one thing that I'm looking at. Just right here below you down here at College Street a few weeks ago, we had a washout, road closure. And I'm a retired guy from the DOT, so I kind of look at a lot of things around the city and see things that can be done to our streets, our sidewalks, a lot of our public right-of-way. So that's one thing I'd like to look at. And then another topic is of course, the $20 car tax that we have. I'm opposed to that. I want to see it. Let's get rid of it, but I've got a plan in hand where we can go back and recoup those fees and possibly a little more, on top of what that generated.
All right. Second question, can you tell me the budget for this fiscal year?
No, I'm new to all this. I've just been to a couple of the meetings and things that the city council's got, so I'm just listening, I'm learning. Just like the rest of us, we're all going to kind of be new to it. I have the information there, I've looked over it, but now as far as the dollar figure, it seemed like it was maybe around 7 million, I believe, somewhere in that area.
Well, looking back at it, I mean, if you can just remember sort of vaguely, can you think of any department that you think is overfunded or underfunded?
Well, again, with us being new to all this, I mean, we've got people that's been seated there for years. And, we're going to have to go back and take a look. Naturally, I mean, any of us that get elected when we get in, we're going to have to, kind of be, I guess what you'd say, a yes person, kind of to see what's going on with issues and things, and then at that time inform our own opinion. But I'm a guy that looks at savings. I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, for an instance, I said an air conditioning unit on a vehicle. If your vehicle air conditioner goes out and you go to a repair shop, you're looking at somewhere, in the range of, let's just say $2,000 to repair that. Mine went out on my personal vehicle a couple of years ago, and I found an avenue. I got the compressor, the cooler, all the things that go on it for like $135, and then had it put on. So I believe I had $235 in the total cost for an air conditioning unit. So let's look at these things. If I can save a big amount, in all the departments and things. Hey, let's save money there. Maybe cut back.
Okay. How do you feel about the working relationship between the county and the city?
Well, again, I feel like maybe that it's been an independent thing over the last few years in discussions that I've had with people. Seem like that there's kind of been like there's Morganton and the city and maybe the county and some of the other municipalities. I think maybe we need to look at working closer with one another. To look at growing our economical area and look at the growth. All around the county, just not Morganton.
Okay. Can you name an item that the council approved this last year that you would have voted against, and why you would have voted against it?
Well, I guess it would have been I'm kind of like Mr. Forrest Fleming was at the last meeting. I'm a Christian. I attend Burkmont Baptist Church, and the debate there about the 2-hour thing there, I guess began serving liquor by the drink or whatever, alcoholic beverages at 10 o'clock. I'm kind of like on the same principle as he was. I think that I know it's 2 hours and what's 2 hours, but I think somebody ought to be in church at that time of the morning. But people have different lifestyles, and I'm not here to form my opinion or my beliefs on them to have them to change. But that was just my personal opinion, and I applauded him for that. So I'd say it would be the 2-hour liquor by the drink. But then, like I told people yesterday, I said we're just on the tail end of this thing. I said it started back with the blue law, and like a guy asked me last night, so what was the blue law? I said, back when I was growing up, I'm 61 years old, and back when I was a kid, everything in town was closed. I mean, there wasn't anything open. Everybody closed on Sunday. And then when the blue law was abolished, then stores started opening, and then now everything's pretty much open on Sunday except for Chick-fil-A. And they're still on the moral issues, the moral principles of our country, what we were founded on. So they still believe in what I do. But, like I say, people's got their own lifestyles. Lifestyles change. They've changed a lot over the last 60 years. And I asked me last night, said, well, it seems like that you have to be retired to serve. I said, well, it's really, I'm not going to be a first Monday night in the month councilman, just show up, and then be back at home and see you next month. I'm going to be out and about, and that's what I've done in my campaign. I've been out shaking hands. I helped a woman on West Concord Street here last week. Said she had some limbs in her yard. She's not been able to get them removed. I called the city to the street department and got those things handled for her. So, there's just a lot of issues and things that we need to address. But as far as your question goes back to, I guess it would have been the mixed drink issues there.
Gotcha. So how do you feel about the city management team as far as?
I think the team is great, what we've got in place. Again, the only time that I've ever had any dealings with Miss Sally and the other folks is just since I've been attending city council meetings for the last 6 or 7 months. I don't know anything about our folks up there, personally, other than Councilman Simmons. I've known him for a long time, but now as far as any of the others, I'm just now beginning to meet and know those folks.
Right, and the city management team, including like department heads and people like that.
Now, as far as department heads and things, now I was employed the last 3 previous years with the Parks and Recreations. I worked on mowing the ball fields and the soccer fields and things like that. So I kind of know the people in the recreation area. And then people retired and one thing and another, I know those. But now a lot of the other department heads as far as sewer and water and the cable, Greg Branch and the people over electrical, I don't know. I've just met all these folks in the last 6 or 7 months and just beginning to know names and faces.
Okay. And as you know, a seat's been open on the council for 2 years. I was wondering how you feel about having an open seat on the council, and if you would do anything to keep that from happening again if you were elected.
Well, there's got to be a way to go through and change something where a seat's filled. I don't know if you can call for a special vote by the people, but the people are the taxpayers. People are entitled, I think, to a lot more voice in government. So, whether it comes down to 4 people or 5 people, getting a vote, to fill a seat, let the people fill it. If nothing else, let the people in that district fill it, an unexpired term. And then when it's time, to come up when that term's over, then do it like it is now, the whole city vote on it.
And out of all the ideas that are proposed in the most recent downtown master plan, what do you feel is the most important proposal to be funded?
I think the housing situation, we need to look at it. Downtown housing, downtown's beginning to grow. It's like I had some of my other statements I said, with the School of Math and Science coming, with our geographical location right here at I-40, and then of course when we got 181 Lake James and it advertised and people coming through the city, we're drawing a lot of people. Of course, everybody knows over the last few years that our retirement population in the county and the city's grown, and it's good for the economy. But I'm going to say that probably our street needs and our housing would be some of the main things that we definitely need to look at in the master plan.
Okay. How many council meetings would you say you've attended in the past year?
I'm going to say, I guess, 7.
Okay. And then, as you know, Morganton has a variety of opportunities for recreation, entertainment, and leisure. And what I'm going to ask you to do is just imagine that it's a Saturday morning in Morganton. You wake up and your day's wide open. starting with, waking up, how would you spend an ideal day in Morganton?
Well, for me, it's golf. I mean, I'm a golf guy. I love my golf, but you've got so many things now, a lot more diversity than when I was coming up. And I mean, look at our area now. I mean, everything you look at on Facebook is people hiking. They're in the mountains. Everybody's in the mountains hiking. So you've got that. Your people on the greenway utilizing those. Our recreation area here in Morgan is just, I mean, it's great. The disc golf facility, 4 years ago when I started to work down at Catawba Meadows, I was mowing the fields. There's a gentleman down there. I didn't know anything about disc golf. And I stopped and asked him. He said he was from Asheville and they were going to have a tournament down there in a few weeks. He was down practicing for that. And he said the facility here at Catawba Meadows is one of the top facilities in the whole Southeast. Our whole recreation facility with our ball fields and things, they're all top notch. I mean, you look at Saturday morning, I'm right above Shuey Field. I can leave on a lot of Saturday mornings and that place is pile full down there with a tournament going on. When I was working down at Catawba Meadows, I mean, we hosted Southeastern tournaments. So there's a lot of benefit with the zip line. With access to the river, all your canoe folks that are out now. So, I'd envision myself being out on Saturday morning down on the river in a canoe, just lazily letting the day go by.
Gotcha. And then final question. Can you tell me something you've done in your life that you are particularly proud of?
I guess being a citizen of Morganton. I mean, at Morganton, people ask me why do I want to run for city council. I said, I don't have any agendas. I don't have any personal things that I'm looking for other than just try to maintain our streets and do. My dad was Walt Hennessee. He was with Morgan Hardware, and when I tell people about Morgan Hardware, they say, "Oh yes, we remember it." Here and there. I said, "No." I said the original Morgan Hardware, when I was a kid raised up, was in where Yanni's is now. And people said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sure." I said, "I mean, I stayed there, So I was raised there, and then he was a volunteer fireman for 32 years with Morganton Fire Department. So that's where I'm going back and looking at things, the way Morganton's been to my family, been to me. And, I've attended our schools. I'm a graduate of Freedom High School. I graduated in '75, attended Western Piedmont. And as I said, I'm retired from Department of Transportation. I had the opportunity here to work here locally in Morganton, so I was a 32-year employee there. I was in the 9th grade, I was a Civitan Young Citizens Award winner. My dad was on the first ball team that played at Morganton High School, and I was on the last ball team that played at Morganton High School. I was a manager with Morganton and Freedom basketball teams and the football teams when Freedom got started. A good friend of mine, Norman Brenneman, at that time was the first booster club member at Freedom High School. We worked together at Morgan Hardware, and I helped Norman do a lot of events over at Freedom to get things going over there. So like I say, Morganton's been a great place. The downtown, it's growing. Geographically, Morganton is about the same as it was. I mean, it's been for 60 years, pretty much, but I'm not talking about your Walmarts and that stuff, but just everything right here in the downtown area is pretty much like it's been all the years. We just had a lot of facade changes and things like that, but like I say, Morganton's a great place. It's been good to me, and I'm just proud of Morganton and proud to be a part of it, and hope that I'll be able to serve the citizens of Morganton in the capacity as a city councilman.
All right. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.